Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing great. I am Neha Rajvanshi and I welcome you all in today's class, that is English class of class 8th. So students, in the previous video we have completed reading with our second poem from the book Honeydew. The name of the poem is Geography Lesson. So this is very interesting, very easy poem, and this poem is having a very great message for all of us. So in the previous video we have seen the explanation part and we have discussed all the literary devices that are there in the poem, and in today's video we will see the comprehension part. We will solve the questions, but first of all we will see the summary of the poem so that one more time we can revise about the central idea of the poem. So now let's begin our today's video with the summary of the poem. In the poem Geography Lesson, the poet has described the scene of a city from a jet. So in this poem, that is Geography Lesson, in this poem there is a description of the scene of a city from a jet. It means the poet, he is there in a jet and the jet, it is flying higher and higher. So from that height, what view is there that the poet he is able to see? So that view, that scene is presented in this poem. Then he is able to know about many things. So when the poet he is there on that particular height, and from that height when he is looking towards the ground, when he is looking towards the city, so there are so many things that are clear to the poet. There are so many things that the poet, that finally he is able to understand. He finds that cities that do not look neatly planned from the ground are well planned and developed when one sees them from a height. Okay, so the first thing that the poet he is able to understand is that, you know, that when he was on the ground, when he was in the city, so at that time it was in his mind that his city, it is not at all systematically planned, it is not at all neatly planned, it is having so much disorder and confusion. But finally when he is there on that height and he is having a aerial view of his city, then finally he is able to understand this thing that no, his city is neatly planned, very systematically planned, and it is planned the way that was required, that was necessary. Okay, so जिस तरह से city develop होनी चाहिए थी, that was required, that was necessary, उसी तरह से जो city है वो develop हुई है. Okay, but this thing was a mystery for him when he was on the ground, but now when he was on that height, so now he is able to understand this thing that his city, it is a developed city, the way that was required, the way that was necessary, and it is very systematically planned city. He understands that water resources are the main reason for people to settle near rivers. And one more thing, or we can say one more geography fact, it was clear to the poet, and this fact was that water resources that are the main reason for the human beings to settle near rivers. It means wherever there are rivers, wherever there are water bodies, so near those areas there are so many population, human civilization is there. Okay, जो जितनी भी ह्यूमन सिविलाइजेशन होती हैं, दे ग्रो नियर द रिवर, दे ग्रो नियर द वाटर बॉडीज, बिकॉज वाटर इट इज द मेन रिसोर्सेज दैट इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स. He also learns about the round shape of the earth and the fact that earth has more water than land, and again he is able to understand some more geography fact. So next fact is that he is able to understand is that the earth, it is of a round shape and earth, it is having more water than land. Okay, but the poet is unable to understand one thing, that why the people on the earth hate each other. So first of all the poet he presented so many things that are clear to him now, but after that the poet he is saying that still there is something that is a mystery for him, and that thing is that the poet he is still unable to understand this thing, that why the people on the earth, why we human beings, why we hate each other, why we kill each other, why we are having so many boundaries and borders. They have built walls, boundaries and fences to kill each other. So this is the thing that the poet he is unable to understand, that why we are having walls, why we are having boundaries and borders, and why we kill each other, why we hate each other. So this is something that is still a mystery for the poet, and you know इतनी height पे जाने के बाद भी ये चीज still a mystery for the poet, and still still he is unable to understand the reason of this thing. Still he is unable to understand this thing, that why we human beings, we are having so many differences, we are having so many discrimination, and on the basis of race, color, religion, language, we hate each other, we kill each other, we fight with each other. So what is the reason? That is still a mystery, and poet, he is having no idea, he is having no clue about the reason. So actually this is the message that this poem is having, and the poet, he wanted to convey this message that we human beings, we always love each other, we always respect each other, and there should be harmony in our heart, in our mind, for all the people who are from different countries, who are having different language, different religion, or we can say different skin color, because ultimately we all are human beings and we all are the citizen of this mother earth. Okay, so there should be no discrimination, there should be no difference in our mind, and always we should love, always we should respect all the people, all the human beings. Clear? He finds that the earth is one, but the people living on it have divided it. So finally the poet, he is able to understand this thing, that the earth is one, the planet earth, it is one. Okay, but the people, but the human beings who are there on this planet, they have divided it, because they have built so many walls, they have built boundaries, they have built fences. Okay, so human beings, they have divided this earth, they have created so many differences and discrimination, but naturally this planet earth, this is same, this is one. Thus it is easy to understand the logics of geography from a height. However, it is very difficult to understand the ill feelings of human beings. This remains a mystery. So finally the poet, he just wanted to say this thing, that when he was on that particular height, when he was flying in that jet higher and higher, and from that height when he was looking towards the ground, when he was looking towards the city, so there were so many logics of geography that were now clear for the poet, that the poet now he is able to understand. But still it is very difficult to understand that why we human beings, we are having so many ill feelings, why we are having hatred for each other, why we kill each other, why we fight with each other. So this is something that is still a mystery. So this is a mystery, and still it remains a mystery for the poet, and from that height also the poet, he is still unable to understand the reason. Okay, so now the poet, he just wanted to say this thing, that we all human beings, we are same, we are one, there is no discrimination. So never ever we should hate, we should kill, or we should fight with each other, but in our heart there should be harmony, there should be love, there should be respect for all the human beings, because this planet earth is one, and we all human beings, we are also one. Okay, so this is the message, this is the summary, and I hope that the summary and explanation part, that is clear to you all. And now let's discuss the questions that are there. So let's see question first. Find 3 or 4 phrases in stanza 1 and 2 which are likely to occur in a geography lesson. So in this question we have to write 3 or 4 phrases that are there in our first and second stanzas, phrases that are most likely to occur in a geography lesson. But here in this poem, the poet, he has used those phrases. So let's see what can we write. We can write scaled 6 inches to the mile. We can write valleys were populated. We can write land and water attracted men. So these are the geography logics that are commonly found in geography lessons, but here in this poem we have read all these phrases, so we can write these here in the answer. Now let's see question 2. Seen from the window of an aeroplane, the city appears. So now we are having some options and we have to mark the right answer, that when we look outside from the window of an aeroplane, so at that time the city, that city appears first as haphazard as on ground, second as neat as a map, third as developed as necessary. So what is the right answer? Right answer is third one. The city looks as developed as necessary. Okay, because when we are on the ground, when we are in the city, so we cannot see the development. Okay, we cannot see the systematically development, the planned development, but when we are there on a height, and from that height when we look towards the city, then only we can understand that our city, it is a developed city, and it developed the way that was needed, that was required. Okay, so the city, it looked as developed, as necessary, as developed, that was required, that was needed. Clear? Next question, which of the following statements are examples of the logic of geography? So now we are having some of the sentence, some of the statement. We have to read all the statements and then we have to tell, then we have to mark the statement that are the example of the logic of geography. So let's read the first. There are cities where there are rivers. So yes, this is a logic of geography, because wherever there are rivers, wherever there are water bodies, only there the developed cities are. Why? Because water, it is the most important resource that is needed, that is required for the development of human beings. So yes, this is a fact, this is a logic of geography. Second is, cities appear as they are not from 6 miles above the ground. It means when we are on a height, so from that height, you know, जब हम cities को देखते हैं, then at that time वो वैसे नहीं दिखते जैसे कि हमें ground से दिखते हैं. Again, this is true, this is a fact of geography, because जब हम किसी भी चीज़ का है ना, you know, aerial view लेते हैं, then only we can understand, you know, that our city, it is perfectly planned and it is having proper systematically development. Next, it is easy to understand why valleys are populated. So again, this is a geography fact, this is a logic of geography, that all the valleys, they are more populated comparatively to hilly areas, comparatively to mountain range. Next is, it is difficult to understand why human hate and kill one another. So no, this is something that is not related with geography, that why we human beings, why we hate each other, why we kill each other, this is not at all related with geography. Next, the earth is round and it has more sea than land. So yes, obviously this is a fact of geography, this is a logic of geography, that our planet earth, it is of round shape, and our planet earth, it is having more sea, more water comparatively to land. Okay. Next question, mention 2 things that are first clear from the height, second not clear from the height. So first of all, we have to write 2 things that are clear from the height, or we can say we have to write 2 things that the poet, he was able to understand from the height. So let's see how can we write. We can write the earth is round and it has more sea than water. So in the poem we have read so many things that were clear to the poet. So you can write your own answer, you can write any 2 things here that were clear to the poet from that height. Okay, so we can write like the earth is round and it has more sea than land. Okay, you can write another thing also. And now secondly, we have to write the things, 2 things that are not clear from that height, 2 things that the poet is still unable to understand from that height. So we can write why men hate each other and why men, they have built so many walls across the cities. Okay, so there are the 2 things that are still a mystery for the poet, that why the human beings, we hate each other, we kill each other, and why we are having so many walls, or we can say boundaries or fences. Okay, so these are the things that are still a mystery for the poet. Okay, so when the poet, he was on that height, so from that height he was able to understand so many facts, so many logics of geography. So you can write any logics here in the first segment, and from that height still the poet, he was unable to understand certain things, so that we have write here. Okay, so we have completed all the question answers. I hope the poem explanation part, the question answers and the lecture devices that we have discussed, everything is clear to you all. In the next video, we will start reading with our next chapter. See you in the next video. Thank you.